What's up, everybody, and welcome on into One Soccer today here on OneSoccer.ca. Andy Petrillo, Oliver Platt, Jordan Wilson, and Gareth Wheeler with you. Meant to ask this before, Mr. Wilson. Are those the World Cup balls behind you? Is there
Yeah,
some?
they're the balls. They're the
World
balls.
Cup ball.
So this one is actually supposed to be a bit white. I don't know what happened. This
Did
was,
you
I
color
think
it
this
in?
was 70, 74. Like it's green. So if you think about green grass, I don't know why the ball is like lime green. How are you even seeing the ball? But yeah, I thought about something to put by my head and I put the World Cup balls.
I love it. I love that.
I'm a huge fan.
I love looking
Of
at the
soccer.
historical progression as well.
I'm a huge fan.
Do you like the soccer? Do you?
The soccer I like.
Then let's talk about the soccer, because the
Relief.
Canadian men's national team, they were in action in Jamaica. And guys, we know Friday was just a debacle. Mother Nature was like, you think you're going to play this game. You ain't.
Mhm.
It was an absolute, it was a pool. Let's put it this way. The field, they couldn't play it on Friday, so it got switched to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. And what do you know? The men go and pull off a victory in Jamaica for the first time since 1988. 1988, by the way, the Jamaican bobsled team was making waves at the Calgary Olympics. So here we go. The men get the victory over Jamaica. And how huge was this, Ollie, given, the disappointment, obviously, in not getting that window in September to play games, that disappointment against Japan as well, that 4-1 loss. Just, how huge was this response for the team? 2-1 the victory.
Yeah, it was a good win. I think that there's two different Canadas right now, really, for me. There's the team that's trying to compete against, the Japans of the world at major tournaments, at the World Cup, hopefully at the Copa America next year. And that team's struggling a little bit. That team's not quite found a way yet to make that step up to be competitive against those sides on a regular basis. And then there's the Canada team that plays in CONCACAF, which aside from, maybe against the United States when they're at absolute full strength, this has been a pretty dominant team in this region over the past couple of years now. So it was an important win for all the reasons you said, Andy, for producing a response to the way the Japan game went, the way that the summer went to a certain extent as well. But I also kind of expect this from Canada now. I expect Canada to be knocking off records like haven't beaten Jamaica in Jamaica since 1988 on a regular basis. I think they should be producing records like that because it's the most talented Canadian team we've ever seen. So certainly job very well done. A lot of, ticks in the right boxes in terms of the decisions Mauro Biello made, going to the 4-4-2, going back maybe to a bit more to what had worked during qualifying. Good game for him as the interim head coach. And then the individuals, I think that, it was the guys who typically stand out for Canada. Kyle Larin, excellent again. Stefan Eustaquio, absolutely outstanding. What a difference he makes, who really led the way. So good day given the circumstances that they faced with the postponement, and obviously a very good result to take back to BMO Field.
How'd you feel about it, Jordan?
Yeah, I felt great. I thought it was a mature performance from Canada in terms of nullifying Jamaica's attack. Also, I think the center backs deserve a lot of praise in terms of Victoria and Kamal Miller handling Cal Antonio early. Everyone looked organized, but then obviously getting on the board early right before the half, which was huge for Canada. But then going where the game's tied at 1-1, and then having the bravery, the courage to finish the game, to drive forward. Even if you look at the second goal, Eustaquio, most maybe midfielders at that point, you're winning, or it's tied 1-1 and you're away. Maybe you don't make that run into the box. But guys just willing to go forward and to make things happen. I think it was a step in the right direction. But I agree with Ollie. I think Jamaica is probably a team right now that Canada should be beating 9 times out of 10. But they still have to go out and do it. I think when you look at how they were playing before with Japan, with the Gold Cup, with how things were, it looked a bit bleak, but they performed and they stood up. So for me, the word that stuck out is mature, because they took care of business. They took care of those moments, and now they just have to take care of this match tomorrow, which they put themselves in the right headspace to do that. That 2-1 win is huge away, and then at BMO, that's their place where they always shine.
Wheels?
Yeah, you could have made a lot of excuses for why Canada may have not performed. The delay Friday to Saturday, the pitch conditions, the heat, it was humid. You can make a lot of excuses, or they could have, but they didn't. This was much more like the Canada team that we saw before, playing with one another. I thought the intensity, the commitment was there. No questions asked. The players showed up, and they, to a man, each and every one of them did their job. And you got to tip the cap to the manager, Mauro Biello. He got the selection right. Perhaps he's been watching One Soccer Today. He's been hearing 4-2-3-1. And none of these decisions were easy, right? Like, we sit here as like pundits on the couch trying to, figure out which pieces fit where the best. But Mauro played every player in probably their best position for the Canadian men's national team. Davies further up the field, Buchanan further up the field, really dangerous attacking four. Larea was a big call right back over Alistair Johnston, who's really been the Iron Man, but it paid off, adding a little bit more speed. Besides Steven Vittoria, really your only player that provides some size, some stature at the back, playing on the right side of center back. Picking Kamal Miller over Derek Cornelius, I thought that paid off. Adekubi at left back, and playing with those two central midfielders and allowing the attacking players the platform to go in and attack. I thought that Biello got some big calls absolutely right in this game, and he deserves a lot of credit as well. We should say there is room for improvement here. This wasn't the perfect performance, but I think that the weather, the conditions had something to do with it. Need to improve in possession, most certainly. I thought Jamaica were really poor on the day, to be honest with you. They really struggled. Interesting to hear their manager say that Leon Bailey was injured for Aston Villa before he played. He had stitches on his leg. I mean, he could have punished Canada on multiple occasions. He did not. Mikel Antonio is going to be a big loss for this second leg. They really missed two Premier League talents, Damari Gray and Amari Bell, for this game. And once you start stripping away some of those Premier League talents in the Jamaican side, I think they're limited in terms of what they have. So Canada did the job. They deserve full credit and come back home in a really good spot. Remember, this wasn't about style points. This was about being pragmatic, because they simply have to qualify for next summer's Copa America, and they put themselves in great position to go on and do that.
Tactically, from Mauro Biello's position, are you going with the same lineup?
Exact same. As long as the players, I think a lot of players left a lot on the field, but I don't change a thing. The one thing I'm stressing is this Canada team just needs to be tidier in possession. They need to be better, be able to keep the ball. Still a lot of their beneficial movement, a lot of their goals come in transition. The second goal certainly in transition. Their goal where Laren Turn came off a long ball from Borjan, but that consistent build, that's still very much a work in progress. And look, Andy, I want them to come out and be aggressive in this game. They own BMO Field. Like, they do not lose. They haven't lost at BMO Field, get this, since September 4th of 2010. That's a span of 22 games. They've gone 15 wins and 7 draws. By kickoff on Tuesday night, that is 4,826 days. They haven't lost at BMO Field. 57 goals scored, just 9 against. Go out and play. This is where they're most comfortable. This is why they love playing there. So I wouldn't change a thing if I'm Mauro Biello, really.
How are you feeling, Ollie? Because, as you mentioned, they're in a fantastic position. It's a win in leg one, plus the 2 goals on the road. But we know that qualification into Copa America is there. Yes, the Final Four as well in Nations League. How key is it to play their game? What do you want to see from them? And also, kind of mentally not get too ahead of themselves.
Yeah, I think they played well enough in Jamaica that you could certainly not change anything. And I don't think any of us would be hugely surprised. I would be interested to see if Johnston comes in at right back, Davies play at left back, give him a ton of freedom to go forwards and affect the game. I'd love to see him behind Junior Hoylett. I thought Hoylett, when he came on, like, that pitch was awful. So many players were having problems controlling the ball and with their first touch. Hoylett comes on and it's still like he's got the ball on a string. He's technically like a level above, I think, any other Canada player. So I'd love to see the potential of those two in combination if you wanted to take a bit of risk and go a little bit more attacking on your home pitch. But again, the performance in the first leg, they were clearly the better team. There was enough there for Mauro Biello to potentially just roll back what he did in Kingston.
Granted, Andy, I think I'm nitpicking a bit, right? But this is what we're here to do, just talk and bring up conversation. I think even though Kone, for me, is a guy that just has a lot of plus, like a lot of upside. In this match as well, what I was saying, that's still partnership in the midfield. You play Eustachio, but Mark-Anthony Kaye, when he came on, I think he did a really good job. I think he did a really solid role. His first touch of the ball was a little flick that maybe set up to Hoylett. that could have been a goal as well. Like and I get why Biello maybe brought him in, because he understands the players that he's playing with, which sometimes for Kone, it takes time, right? This is still a young player, and rightfully so, is still a bit green. I think in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, Kone will be one of the top players for Canada. 100% box-to-box midfielder, the way that he can just skip by one player and skip by another, but he still needs that time to figure out, hey, this is not a moment to lose the ball. Maybe I shouldn't play a cross-field pass at this time. He still needs that bit. I think going into this match, you need someone with legs and someone to lay down the hammer in the midfield. Whoever that might be, I said Mark-Anthony Kaye, but you could actually put someone else in that spot. You could even put Osorio in the midfield. I think you could put someone different as opposed to the three that he played with Eustachio, Kone, and David. You could put another guy in there.
He has options. He used his substitutions well, to your point. And let's not forget, Mark-Anthony Kaye has something to prove. He's even said it, right? He was humbled by not getting the call in the summertime. He wasn't too pleased about that. This is somebody where it was kind of a given where he would be called into camp. So I think he knows that he can lose his spot. And, he came out and played in a way that we've seen him play before. So I think he also has a lot to prove. And I think that's another reason why he looked good, right? Sometimes it's just that little bit of extra motivation for players. So that leg 2 goes Tuesday. You can watch the game right here on One Soccer. That'll be at BMO Field. Final 4 in CONCACAF Nations League on the line, as well as a berth into next summer's Copa America.